Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Just write in the chat box if you can hear me, or give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I got you, no problem.
Okay.
I hear ya.
Amazing. All right. So I'm gonna mute all, if you guys don't mind, and share my screen. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about Google Analytics, and we're going to focus on Google Analytics for the next 35 to 40 minutes. And I'm going to open the, we'll do it for 30 minutes, and then I'll leave it open for you guys to ask questions. However, if you do have questions about what I'm showing you as we go along, please feel free to ask me. If you have questions about how to set it up later on yourself, we can talk about that as well. I'm gonna have the chat open. I have no audio. Okay. Can you hear me now? Danny? I think everybody else can hear me. Honestly, I'm not very good with Zoom, so I wouldn't know how to help you. Let me see. Oh, I think if you click on the arrow pointing down by the audio and go down to select a speaker, you might make some changes to which speaker you're using so you can hear yourself, you can hear me. Okay, so let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about Google Analytics. Danny, give me a thumbs up if you can, once you fix the problem. Okay, why Google Analytics is important? Because we build Google Analytics on the back end of a website. So what I'm showing you is a demo account that we have on one of our Google merchandise accounts. And this demo account, every information in it is fake. However, I'm gonna plug a client of mine, and as you can see, I'm gonna put nichdecor.ca. They're one of our loveliest clients. So we have built her a brand new website. So this new website, we add in a code on the back end. And you can find that code by doing UA. And you can see where the code is located. Sorry, just a lot of UAs. There you go. So you see this? This is where her code is. This code here is what we have placed. Just close this for a quick second. This is where her code is. This is the Google tag that we have added to her website. So once we have added that, then whatever happens on her website, we'll be able to see it through our Google Analytics. So let's say hypothetically, the code we add into Niche Decor is what we're looking at, which really isn't. But let's use that as an example. So this is an overall, at the moment, it says there's 60 active users on the website. This is the blue piece that you can see. And in total, we've had 10,000 users. We've made $692 from this 10,000 users. Our conversion rate is 12%. And we've had 12,000 sessions on the website. When you go further down, you can see where the traffic's coming from. So April 2nd, most traffic came either from others, social, referral, direct, and organic. As you can see, organic brought the most amount of traffic, and then you have direct, and then referral, and social, and so forth. You can do the same for the April 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and you can see where your traffic's coming from. Why does that matter? Well, a lot of us advertise right now, or if we don't advertise, we're writing about our business because we don't want to kind of fall in between the cracks, and we want to have information that goes out. Okay, well, if you posted an information about, you know, a redesign of your website, and you posted it on the 3rd, you can see which channels brought you the most amount of traffic. And if what you have written was placed on social, you can see that social only brought 83 people. And then you can go back and look at that writing to see if it was successful or not. You can see where the traffic's coming from. As I said, this is demo information, but you can see most traffic came from Canada. Actually, this is a really good thing, because if your business is in Canada, sorry, most traffic came from US, not Canada. So if your business is in Canada and your clientels are for the most part in Canada, and you like to target people in Canada, there's a problem here, because now you're seeing that most traffic came from US. So you can see, well, this doesn't make sense for me. I need to change that. When do your visitors visit your website? This is actually a really good point, because a lot of us advertise. And sorry guys, hi, I just admitted a bunch of people. What happens when someone views your social media and then does a Google search? So multiple, yeah, that happens. Ty, that happens a lot. And they will come in from, if they've arrived on the same day, once from social and once on Google, that's 2 users. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So what time of the day they came in, this is actually important, because some of us send out email blasts or we run ads. If you run an ad from 9 a.m. till next day 9 a.m., you've spent money, like you've spent a lot of money to advertise yourself. But that doesn't necessarily mean these are the right group of people that are usually come to your website. Here you can see what time people usually come to my website. And you can look at the time, and I'll show you how to look at the time right now. So if most people are arriving to your website at 8 to 10 a.m., sorry, I just have to admit a few people in. Excellent. Good morning, everyone that just joined us. We haven't got far, guys. We're still talking about the little details about Google Analytics and what to look for. And we're gonna get into more details in a minute. So if you know most people are arriving to your website between the times of 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., this is a really good time to send out your email blast. And apparently the best time to send your email blast are either on Tuesday or Wednesday. So sending out an email blast at this time will guarantee that they're reading it, because these are the people that are already checking your website. These are the people that are waiting for your information. However, the email blasting only works if everyone that you're emailing has visited your website. So keep that in mind. And this is what I'm showing you right now is the overview that by clicking on home, you'll be able to see. Which pages are doing better for you? And there's a breakdown of each page. So if you see, it says last 7 days, and you can change that date to any particular time frame that you like, whether it's today, yesterday, last 28 days, or customize it based on a particular time frame. I like to customize my time frame. I always like to do a comparison, and I'll show you how to do a comparison a little bit better. I like to do a comparison of this month versus last month, because I want to see what am I doing this month? Did I do really good last month, or did I do better this month than last month? Or if I didn't, how do I improve it? You want to see your active users. This is so important, because this kind of tells you, on a weekly or daily basis, how many active users do you actually have on your website? Your website is your storefront. Whether you sell services or products, you do want them to come to your website, and you do want them to get information about who you are and what you're about. Because especially as we're all going through this pandemic, everybody's realizing how important it is to have an online presence. You can see how many people have come in from a tablet, mobile, and desktop. Why is that important? Well, because 89% of Canadians, we use our mobile devices to look for things. At 11 o'clock at night, I'm sitting on my bed. I'm not pulling up the laptop to look for something. I am pulling my phone up or my tablet to look for something, or I'm watching the news on my phone, on my tablet. So think about that. Think about if my site is not getting a lot of traffic from mobile, why is it? Is it because it's not mobile friendly? Is it because every picture is skewed? Is it because if my information is too much on mobile and no one's going to actually scroll through all of it and read it? And you kind of want to know how well are you retaining these clienteles? You can see the first week, as of I've retained more clientele of all sorts of users from the 23rd to the 4th during this COVID, because everybody's online and looking at things. I didn't do that well on the week 5, but I did much better on this first week. You want to see how many goal completions. This is so important. So what you're going to hear from me today is that you need to have, sorry, I have to admit one more person in, and we're good. Good morning, Vivi. You kind of want to know, okay, number 1, everything I'm talking about is about something called conversion. Conversion is when a client goes on your website, they look at your information, but they don't do anything, they leave. So you didn't convert this person into anything. You had someone who went on your website and they roamed around. But what you want to happen is you want this person to either call you, fill up a form, download something, or buy something, right? That's the ultimate goal of everybody that owns a business. Okay, so in order for that person, that user to complete those actions, they have to convert into being a customer. So conversion should be your number 1 priority. If you buy an ad, you want to make sure it's an ad that will convert into a user. If it's a click ad or it's an awareness ad, well, how much awareness do you really possibly need? You need someone to become a client. That's what you want. So conversion is super, 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 super important. Keep telling yourself that, write it on a piece of paper, stick it to your computer and say, this is what I want. That's my goal. I'm putting it out in the universe. I want conversion, okay? And everything we're going to talk about is based on conversion. So if they've gone to the website, they've looked at something, what did they do, okay? Now, this section here, how are you performing against your goals? We need to set goals, and I'll show you how to do that. So do you want user engagement? Do you want entered checkouts? Do you want registration? Do you want purchase completion? Do you want a SMART goal? SMART goals are set for them to complete an action, whether they're on, if they're from a landing page or an ad when they come in. The ad only comes up based on their behavior, and it's based on what they've done in the past, and Google has been tracking them. Or is it a remarketing? That's another SMART goal. So you want to get that information. That's super, 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 super important. The other important thing is if you're running Google Ads, you want to see the performance of your campaign. Now, when you run a Google Ads, there's performance off of your Google AdWords account, and then what did it do when it comes to your website. So if that shows you that you had 5,000 clicks and you had 10,000 impressions, that's great. You should take that information serious, but the most important information would be, okay, they've done that. They've landed on my website. Now what did they do? Did they flow around different sections? What actually has happened? And the next piece is that if you are selling a product, you need to add in every bit of your product into your analytics, and there's ways to do it, because you want to make sure that you can track your revenue and the unique purchases that you've had on this particular product. Mainly because if you're selling a product and you're advertising and you're spending money and there's products and the cost of storing the inventory, did it work? Did it bring you money? Does the numbers from your analytics match your QuickBooks? Okay, so let's get started. As you can see in the corner, we have audience, we have acquisition, and we have behavior, and we have conversion. Remember, conversion, conversion, conversion. That's what we want. Okay. Audience is everything and anything you need to know about who is coming to your website and why are they on your website. Okay. That's super, 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 super important. You can always look at the overview here and see that you've had 10,000. Oh, so let me just show you something. Sorry, I have to close this video thing. Okay, so do you see in the corner here, it says, you see here, it says time, date, and month and year. Okay, so let's say it's all of, I always like to do a full March or a full February or a full March and compare to the full February. I like to look at my reports to see, okay, well, I didn't have a good month. Why didn't I have a good month? Where was I the month before, or this month versus the month before? So when I look at that information, then I see that somewhere along the way, either I messed up with my business, or if I didn't mess up, something drastic has happened, which is why we're having this problem. Because websites don't drop thousands of clients a day. Either something catastrophic happens, or a piece of your website breaks and you don't know about it. Your plugins are not updated, so someone steals your website. The product that you're selling, you're not putting a lot of emphasis on it. You're not talking about it. There's not a lot of good content, so there's drop, but the drops are small. So I always like to look at my reports as I showed you. But let's, for the sake of this argument, say that we're only going to look at the 1st to the 6th. Okay. It's coming. Okay, so it shows us that we've had 11,851 users. 10,715 are new. They've completed 14,000 sessions, okay? Which means the amount of times, the number of times they've come in as an individual and they've gone through multiple sections of their website without without leaving the website. We've had 58,000 page views. These are every page on your website they've viewed. So collectively, the 11,000 people that have come in, they have viewed your website pages 58,000 times. Okay, so they've gone to every page, or whichever page that they've gone to it multiple times. And every time they go back to the home page and they click on the logo to take them back to the home page, that's actually considered a page view as well. And so the most important thing we always want to look at is number of users, how many of them are new, page views, how long do they spend on the website. Average person spends anywhere between about 3 seconds to 10 seconds on the lower end, and then 10 seconds to 30 seconds on the higher end. So if there's collectively spend 2 minutes and 50 seconds on your website, you better have had calls, form fills, or a purchase, because that's a lot of time that they've spent on your website. And the best part is that this is called the bounce rate. So one person coming to your website and staying on your website and not doing anything and immediately leaving, that's called the bounce rate. So your bounce rate would be at 100%. So if this person is at, like, they've done nothing, they've come to one page, they looked at it, they left, that's 100% bounce rate. At 49% bounce rate, that means they've gone through multiple pages and they spend time on your site. They haven't just looked at one page and leave. So that's a really good thing. Your bounce rate always has to be low. So you can see which languages their browsers are set on. Why? Because some people like to only sell to people that speak a particular language, and this is important to them. You can look at the demographic, which we will do right now. You can look at the system they're using or mobile devices. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm going to give you the main ones that I like to track, because that's the moneymaker. So let's look at the audience. Okay, here I can see, I'm going to make this the 1st of March to the 31st of March, because I want to see some better numbers. So demographic is important. Why? Because we want to know who are these people that are coming to our website. So we can see that 7,527 are women and 11,781 are men. Now, this is important because if you have a female clothing store and that's your numbers for your genders, there's a problem, okay? And this is why you should look at your reports, because this tells you, hey, wait a minute, I'm selling clothes to women. Why are there more men coming to my website? Or vice versa. You can see the demographics age-wise, that majority of them are between ages 25 and 34. Is this the right group of audience to you? So let's say you're a car dealership. Are these people that can afford purchasing your cars? If it is, great. If it isn't, then there's a problem. We need to fix the information that's on the website or the way we're targeting and messaging our people. So interest is also important. Why? Because we advertise. We put our information on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, AdWords, Bing ads. We advertise everywhere. But where do we advertise? What audiences do we pick when we advertise? That's important to know. So let's say if I advertise to everybody that wants to travel, my website is a type of website that people want to travel to. But then if I look at the affinity category here, which says these are the people that I've been reaching, and most of the male that I've been reaching, you see it's a darker blue. Remember, darker blue was male and lighter blue was women. Look at that. They're shoppers. They're not travelers. So I need to be bringing the travelers up here, not the shoppers. So that means my placement of my ads are incorrect. So we need to fix that. We can also see there's 3 tiers to it. There's affinity, there is in market, and other category means that, you know, they've saw your ad on this arts and entertainment site, and they've clicked on it and they've come in. It's not that's not part of their behavior. Affinity is part of their behavior. Their behaviors are their shoppers. Their behaviors are they search a lot of technology information. In market is they're looking to buy something. So they're looking for employment. If they're looking for employment because this is what their needs are, that's an in market. And all of this information comes from the AI that follows you everywhere, every time you're on Google search and you search for things. So this is important. When you set up your audience, you want to check that out to see if you're advertising to the right group of people. Geo, that's geographical location or geo-targeting. I like geo because it tells me, okay, I'm advertising to the right people in the right area at the right time. So in this case, most people are from United States. If I want them to be from Canada, it would be here. Now you can see it at the country level, or you can see it at the city level. So at the city level, I don't like not set, okay? But because I don't know who the heck these people are, but there's not much I can do about it because it's not set from their end, not from your end. I know they're coming from New York, not Newmarket, New York, London, and Sunnyvale. And why does it matter? Well, because I want to see how many people came from this particular city. I want to see, you know, there's 3 sections. Look at this. So we have the acquisition, which means what do they come from? Traffic-wise, do they come from organic? Do they come in directly? Do they come from social media? How did they got there? Behavior, how did they behave on my website? Did they go to multiple pages? Did they just leave? Did they spend time on my pages? And conversion, remember conversion. This tells me, did they buy? How many transactions were completed from these cities? How many transactions were completed from these cities? And then how much money did I make? What was my revenue? And what was my e-commerce conversion rate? Okay, this is also important. I like conversion rates because it tells me you brought in 5 people, but you actually ended up having 1 person finalizing their action. Hi, Miriam. Sorry, I came a little bit late. You might have gone to. And I don't have, okay. Jenny, give me a minute. Let me just go through everything and then I'll answer your question. Okay, so you want to see conversion, behavior, acquisition. Okay, so this is important things that we want to look at. But it's important to see where they're coming from, because if my business is in Aurora and it's a, you know, it's a clothing store in Aurora, or in the case of Niche Decor, they have a location in Aurora and they have a location in Newmarket. I don't think people from Mississauga are going to come shop from me unless I have this fantastic, beautiful, wonderful thing that I'm the only person that has, and that's why they're coming. So if I'm showing up in Mississauga and Scarborough or you know, Ajax, maybe I shouldn't because it's not a right fit for my business. Maybe my ads are the problem. Maybe my targeting the location is the problem. Okay, behavior. The only thing in this section that I care about is the new visitors versus returning visitors. Why? Because returning visitors are fantastic. good to have new visitors, but a returning visitor says that you've done something right. Your website's good, your information's good, they're looking for you, they need to call you, so they went back to your website and looked for your information. So aim to get more returning visitors. It's good to have new visitors, but returning visitors, if you look at the time they spend on the page, is always higher than the new visitors. So a returning visitor spent 3 minutes and 55 seconds on the page, but our new visitors only spend 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And this is a big deal to us. And if you even look at the, in this fake case, we've had 23 transactions from returning visitors and we made $1,751. But for the most part, it's always the returning visitors that do make a purchase rather than the new visitors. Then we have the frequency of them coming to the website and engagement. So engagement for me is the amount of time they spent on a website. How long do they spend on the website? How many pages they look at? It's a really good thing because it tells me that, you know, they've only spent a 0 to 10 seconds. Well, there's a huge problem if they only spend 0 to 10 seconds on a particular page because they didn't read anything. We always want the ones that are in, you know, the 60 plus seconds on the page, because that tells us, you know, that the content we put in is really good and they're reading and they could potentially become a client. I like this one. This is a really good one. It's called conversion probability. Okay. Why is that a good one? Because we brought in, I think it was 10,000 plus people. Was it 10,000? I think it was 10,000. Oh, sorry. Let's say 42,000. Okay. We brought in 42,000. Oh God, did I lose it? No, it's here. It's all under behavior. So we brought in all of those people and 26,000 of them came in organically. And out of that, we made $2,000, but it could have been a lot more because we actually, so if you look at the cost we put in for each individual that has come in, it's at cents. So it's like 1 cent, 60 cents, 20 cents. So technically this is a lot of money that we've made because, you know, if this person was valued at $2, that would be triple or quadruple of that. Okay. So what does this probability mean? It means that if they have come in organically, we can go back and look and say, well, they've come in organically and we made $2,000 from them. So if we boost up our SEO, then we're gonna triple our revenue. Whereas the people that came in directly only spent 1,300. So this allows you to go back and look at, well, can I turn this person into a client in the near future if I do X, Y, and Z, if I apply X, Y, and Z tactics into growing my business online. Mobile is also important to me because I want to know where they're coming from. If I have more people showing up off of a desktop and not mobile, and the services that I have are the type of services that are available 24/7, I kind of want to go back and revisit, well, maybe I should boost the amount of ads that I post on AdWords, but focus on mobile. Or I should change the layout of my website where it's much more mobile friendly. And that's a new trend. A lot of companies, they change the look of their website to make it more mobile friendly. Give me a second. I just needed to add a few people. Amazing. I think Susan's having a hard time joining. Okay. So mobile is important. You want to always look at this. And this is called a user flow. I absolutely love this data. If you haven't noticed yet, I am obsessed with metrics and data because I learned so much from it, and I like to understand how my end user interacts with every page and what happens with it. So this is a really good this is a very good section to always look at information and see how things are done here, because it tells me that, well, most people came from United States, India, United Kingdom, Canada, France, and others that we can't see. In addition to that, everybody from US went onto our homepage, and this is the first interaction they have with our website. Then the second page they went was the YouTube section page, and then the third page was the apparel page, and then they went to the shirt page. And then once they were done here, and these could be based on the ads we were running, and they looked around, then the second interaction was, well, they went from the home page to the store page. From the store page, they went to, sorry, I'm just trying to admit one more person in. They went to the Google apparel page, and then from there, they went to another apparel section. And it tells me how many sessions and how many drop-offs. Okay, your drop-offs are important because it shows me that there was a reason why 61% of my users dropped off. Maybe I should put more call to action. Maybe I should have a chat bot. I recently added a chat bot to our website, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it because I get a message on my phone the minute someone's on my chat bot, and then I'm going to talk to them right away. Perfect, life is great. And I get to get that client as my client ASAP. So maybe you should add a chatbot to your website. Maybe when they're dropped off in the store section, look, you only had a 29% drop off in your store section. This is a really good thing because then that shows you that the content and the product that you're saying are always good. I always find a trajectory of these. Do we need a class? Jane, give me a minute. Let me give me a minute. Let me finish all of this, and then I'll answer your question. I can't do two things at the same time. So it's really important to look at your user flow to see how things are done. Okay, let's move on to acquisition. This is another very important section. Okay, so the 4 sections that we're going to always look at is conversion, behavior, acquisition, audience. I said it backward. So audience, acquisition, behavior, conversion. Acquisition means where the traffic came from. Did it come organically? Here it is. Here's a breakdown. So as I showed you, we are looking at March 1st to March 31st. Okay, so March 1st to March 31st, we've had, there we go, organic. Organically, we had 26,000 users. That's right. Yeah, 26,000 users that came organically. We can see that 6,000 came from direct. You see how it's broken down into pieces here. Social, referral, social, affiliates are people that you have, create a partnership with, and you have their an affiliate on your behalf. They're sending you clients from their website to your website. Others are usually other sites that are bringing traffic, and they're unspecified, so we can't track them. Display are all the ads, all the image ads, or some of the Facebook ads are also considered display. Paid or text ads, YouTube text ads also are considered, or display ads. YouTube display ads are also under display as well. So acquisition, who are they? They're new users. There are our audience. Behavior, what did they do? They went through the website. This is our bounce rate. Remember, lower the bounce rate, better it is. So organic did very well. And conversion, how much did they convert from becoming just a user to an e-commerce purchaser? And as an e-commerce purchaser, this is our the number of transactions we have made and the money that we've made from it. So how do I see this broken down into pieces? There it is. This is a pretty map that you can see, and the chart, not a map, and it shows you details on what's happening with every single platform, bounce rate per platform, and again, how long do people stay on your website based on those platforms? So look at this, paid search, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Whatever you're doing with your paid search, if it's at that minutes on the page, you're doing phenomenally great. Okay, and then you have the source medium where it gives you, a breakdown, organic, direct, and source-wise, where was the sources and where they come from. Okay, now we're going to get into, because I know there's going to be tons of questions. I'm going to show you the Google Ads. For those who run campaigns, you have to link your campaigns. Once you link your campaigns, you can see which campaign did how well and how much you spent, what was your cost, the number of clicks, cost per click, users that you got for the cost per click, how many of them bounced, and then what do they do when they come to your website? Why? Because if I'm running 7 ads and out of the 7 ads, only 1 translates into 1 sales, there's a problem, because I spent $297, but I've only made $148. This is where you realize I need to reevaluate how I'm running my ads. So there's a breakdown. You can see there's a little bit more technical, and it takes a little bit more time to explain. And the only one I'm going to show you is the shopping campaign, mainly because I think I have no data here. But so the shopping campaign is, it's so important to start taking advantage of Shop Google. If you have a product that you are selling, any sort of product it is, mainly because it's a very powerful tool. It takes all the data that they're creating and they're collecting on behalf of everybody, and they're using it to increase your conversion. So you want to make sure you use that. So the Google Ads section is important in this section. Social Search Console is very optimizable. It's all about optimization of your website and how well you optimize. And this is the one that we care about as website developers and website optimizers. Social is also important because some of you run social media campaigns. Okay, well, that campaign has to translate into an action on your website. And how do they translate into an action on your website? Okay, that's very important. If you have ran a video on YouTube and you have ads on Facebook and you have ads on Quora, not ads, sorry, an account on Quora, and you have answered a few questions on Quora, same with Twitter and same with Google Groups are gone. Google Groups are still on, Hangout is gone. And same with Hacker News. Okay, so you've added information in there about your business and who you are. When you come here and you look at it, you kind of see, well, out of all of these efforts, because this takes a lot of time and effort to put in information and fill up the content and make sure that the links are working and they bring people back. It's a lot of work, and you know it's a lot of work. Okay, well, which one of them translated into a number? At the end of the day, when you see that number, it immediately tells you, well, my contributed social media conversion was only 137, but I put in like 12 hours into, creating the content, making sure the content's at top of the line, posting that content, measuring the content that I posted from those social media platforms. Well, what did it do when it got to my website? How many conversions did I get? Is 5,000 enough out of the 53,000 sessions? And if I only got 5,000, what does that translate to money? How much money did I make from it? So social is another platform that you should always look at. The next section we're going to look at is called behavior. This is where it gives you all the details about your website pages. So we brought people through our audience to the website. We know the traffic location that they've come from. Okay, now what? What do they do? The final action, the last section of this act is right here. They're on the website. What do they do? How much money did we make from them? How long did they stay? Are they coming back? You can see here that the homepage got 45,000 page views. Out of the 209,000 page views, 45 belong to the homepage. Then you have the store, the basket, that's the shopping cart. And then you have the quick view, something about YouTube, and it breaks it down. Okay, it tells me I had 209,000 page views out of that 45,000 plus or 44,000 audience that came in. It tells me that 141,000 were unique. It also tells me that the average time that they spent on a page was 54 seconds. That's absolutely amazing because they're reading, they're doing something. And only 25% exited and 49% bounce rate. Remember, bounce rate and exit rate always has to be low. As I showed you with the audience flow, you can look at the behavior flow. The behavior flow, it actually only talks about the pages and how they interacted from the home page to all the other pages that are set on your website. Okay, and I always go over it every time we, before I send this report to my client, I always go over it because I want to see, well, we've had 50,000 drops here. Why? 94% drops. Something happened here. So when I talk to the client, I can say, well, something happened here. Either the page had a problem, either the content wasn't proper, either we should have, you know, or we advertised in the wrong section with the wrong keyword, and that's very common. When you advertise in a wrong platform with the wrong keyword, let's say if you're in a real estate agent and you use the word real estate. Now, whether I want to clean real estate, buy real estate, sell real estate, invest in real estate, I'm doing a project on real estate, you're going to come up. So I show up on your website and I'm like, this is not where I want to be. I'm in the wrong place. So I would leave, and that's where the drop happens. So you picking the right keywords important, picking the right platforms important, picking the right search engine is important. All of that is a contributing factor to why you have such a massive drop off. Sorry, I talk a lot. Okay, so site content will give you a breakdown of every page. I like this information because I can go page by page and see if you notice, we only gave this page a value of 6 cents. So all of our values are quite low. But and I like to give a page a value because that client or whoever's on that page is there for a reason. At some point, Lillian, I'll explain that to you later. I just looked at your chat. So when you give a page of value, it's important because you want to make sure that this person that has gone to your website has an amount attached to it. That comes from your conversion. You are giving this person a value because at some point you want this person to become a full-fledged client of yours. And then you can see if the cost of your website per month is $400, $200, $900, and you've had, you know, every page is valued at 6, 7, 20 cents, and you've only made X amount of dollars from these clients online, maybe there's a problem with your website. We need to reface it and change the way that the website operates. I like looking at every page because it tells me how much time they're spending on every page. Okay, it tells me that my top page right now is the 1 minute and 29 seconds. That's my top page, and that's right here. That's my basket, and that's a really good thing. That's another important point. When you have every page laid out, you can see how many people have left things in the shopping cart. Okay, so 861 entries to my shopping cart, but how much did I make from it? Right? So keep that in mind. All of these other information is super important, but for the sake of time and so that everyone can ask questions, let's go to conversion. Okay. If you have this set up on your website, feel free to go in and check it out, see how things works, play around, open every section, look it up. You can't break it. It's unbreakable. Goals. I like goals because goals tells me that I originally wanted people to come on my website and complete a particular action. I wanted them to engage with my contact form. I wanted them to look at the contact us page and click on the call so I can see how many people have called me. Okay, all of that's possible right here. I can see there was 5,242 goals that were completed because I have set up conversion on all of these pages. So I can see how many of them have gone where. 60 conversion to the purchase completed section. So I've got 60 complete purchases. I've had 4,338 engaged users, and my registration, I had 186 registration, and entered checkout section, I had 658 people that entered my checkout section. So goals are completed. I'm happy with it. I've had what I wanted to set was done. Now, the second set of goals that I like to set is through my e-commerce, okay? Why? Because a lot of us sell online or should be selling online. Well, here it tells me how much money did I make? And these are based on the cents that we have set up for those pages. It shows me that I've had a $3,000 revenue with an 0.11% e-commerce conversion rate. I've had 59 transactions and average order was valued at $65. Okay, now this is different than if some of you have WooCommerce and you have e-commerce built into the back of your website, if it's a WordPress site or if it's a Shopify, you want to compare this to that, because it has to be in sync. If it's not in sync, there's a problem. So you want to make sure that you add in all of your product here and that you compare this information to the e-commerce data that you collect as well. The last piece that I'm going to talk about is setup, because I know everybody is wondering, how the heck do I set this up? So when you go to admin, you always set up an account right here. You can create a new account, and once you do that, you grab the tracking code, which is right here, and you add that to your website. And that's how it's done. Now, I know you guys have a lot of questions, so I'm going to unmute everybody. If you do have background noise, please mute yourself, but feel free to ask questions. And I'm going to start with answering.
If you
read the talents of it, where it came from, there's a lot of good information that you can.
Okay, I'm going to.
Not at this time. Like at this
no
time,
time.
I'm just gonna hold off for.
That's what I would suggest.
Did you do your homework yet?
No.
Okay. Any questions, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the time she got home, I was on a. I was on.
Really good.
Thank you.
I'm
Bye.
gonna. There's a lot of unmute.
Something, fucking eat something. There's no more Cheerios and freaking Nutella.
Okay, Cheerios is better than Nutella. No Nutella.
Guys.
We're not buying any more Nutella.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start answering some of these questions. Jenny, sorry I came in a little bit late. You might have gone through this already. I just set up Google and I don't have any data on my account. Is that normal? Does it take time for Google Analytics to gather data? If you don't have data on your account, there's two reasons for it. Reason number one, it wasn't set up properly.
Well, and the other thing is that the more people that have access to that, the more people have got an opinion. And then basically you end up with...
Sorry, can I just mute you? I'm going to mute you. There we go. All right, so the reason that happens is because A, you haven't set it up properly, or B, you don't have proper data. You have no traffic on your website. If you do have traffic on your website and you know that you do, then there's a problem with the way you set up the code. And that's why you're not getting any information. Jane, Miriam, I always find the trajectory of this section hard to follow. Do we read across or read down? Oh, Jane, you mean, if you mean the reports of the homepage, you always read down. If you mean this, you always read down. And if you mean these ones, you always read down as well. Miriam, my chart says no data to display. Again, Lillian, it's probably because it wasn't set properly. One of the things that just happened recently to one of my clients that could be the reason is that he has had 3 different Google accounts set up under 3 different accounts, 3 different numbers, and he had added that one number that it was absolutely incorrect. So he was like, I'm not collecting any data. So go back and look at your number and compare it to exactly what's on your website. And if it still doesn't show you any numbers, it could be because there's not data being collected off of your website. But you're normal. But I can look, so if you want, you can reach out to me and I can see if I can troubleshoot for you. People don't realize God. Does the attribute function work accurately? Yes, it does. Again, you have to set it up properly, and every bit of information that's in there is 100% accurate. Can Google Analytics also track phone calls? Yes. I think we talked about this yesterday. Yes, it can, but it's on. Okay, so there's a way around that. And that is if you set up a tool on your website that collects the data, it's called CallRail, and you set it up on your website to collect anybody and everybody that's called from your website, and then use that as a link to be tracked on here. So it is possible, yes. Can we get recording of this? I'm going to need to review a couple of things to relearn. So yeah, of course. Rebecca, I'll have the recording. It's still recording. So once we're done, I'm going to post it on social media. Sorry, no, on YouTube, and I'll send you guys the link because I have everyone's email address. What chatbot do you recommend? Oh, that's a very good question. Okay, so there's few. So some of the ones that I highly recommend are Drift. Big fan of Drift. Again, I'm using Drift. I'm very happy with it. HubSpot is a really good one. Absolutely good. It's one of the best, mainly because it tracks the conversation piece by piece, and it's in your HubSpot. And if you are using it for CRM, it's the perfect thing to use. The other one that I really like is, if you can, add in your Facebook Messenger into your website as a chatbot. That would be ideal, because every single one of us are on our phone, and if you have Facebook on your phone, oh, Lillian, I know when I can reach out. Lillian, you can reach out to me whenever you want. Chatbots, definitely look into Facebook Messenger, Drift, and the other one would be HubSpot. I really like those. I would love the recording as well. Kim, I'm putting it on YouTube, and I'll email you guys the link to the video. Feel free to go and look at it. It's going to be on our YouTube channel, and I'd be more than glad to share it with you guys. Are there any other questions? Oh, we did good. Yeah. I think, there we go. Amazing. Thank you guys for being here. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Will you let us know when you do Google Ads training? Yes. What I'll do is, I have everyone's email addresses. I will, when I do the, thank you, Christina. When I do the Google AdWords training, I'll set up, it will be definitely next week or the week after. What I'll do is I'll set you guys a link, and you can totally join. Well, if that's all the questions, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful long weekend, since we're all at home and doing nothing. Enjoy it. Bye, guys.